What's it like being the neurodiverse one in a marriage with someone that is completely normal?
What's normal these days?
Well, that's a really good conversation to have. Apparently, you are normal.
I was going to say, yeah, let's clarify who is the neurodiverse and who is the non, or what's the word? Is it neurotypical?
Yeah, so neurotypical is going to be somewhat, well, the average person. And then neurodiverse would be those people that might have be on the spectrum or ADHD, dyslexia. It's just their brain is wired slightly different. Yeah, so that puts them in a different category to what is seen as potentially normal.
Standard person.
Yes, if you want to be, if you will.
If you will.
If you will.
Yes. So should we clarify? So we're talking about neurodiversity from your point of view.
Yeah.
So you being a neurodiverse person.
Yes. And coming from a large family of diagnosed ADHD, we've got some really long line of really interesting personalities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've met a few of them.
You've met a few of them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you obviously, you were attracted to me and you thought, I'm going to marry this one. So there must have been some good qualities around that.
And then I met your other personalities.
Excuse me. Well, I mean, we'll go into a little bit deeper on what it's actually like to live with each other, and the differences in how we.
And hopefully it'd be interesting to know whether it's common across a lot of people who are neurodiverse as well. That what we cover and what I notice about you living in with a neurodiverse person is that I wonder if everyone else kind of experiences that, or everyone's different in their own way. I'm sure they're different in their own way, but it would be interesting to see whether there's commonalities there with other people.
Yeah, definitely. I think if I had to just think about some of the key things or key personality traits about myself, would be forgetfulness. Can be extremely forgetful.
How many times do I have to call your phone of a day, especially the weekend, because you've just left it somewhere, you've got no idea where it is, it doesn't exist?
But I never actually lose it though, so...
No, it's always in the last place that you put it.
Yeah, but so I am looking for it constantly, but I'm not so bad with misplacing things that I lose it. I might lose it for like 6 months, but I'll find it again.
Half my phone bill is me just calling you to see where your phone is.
Yeah, so I guess, forgetfulness is a really big one. Getting lost, losing my track of time, like losing track of time. Time is another one. I'm constantly needing to be reminded, especially like sticking to schedules. That's really difficult. It's hard to live in a routine, even though I know that that's the best thing for me. It's something I fight against.
You do fight against
routine.
Having a structure and a routine.
And it's the only way I can function as well. I don't know how you live like that. You just, everything you do is just the same the whole time, and you just follow this perfect routine, and that's just how you live. Your whole life is just about doing the same thing over and over again with no problem. And it's like, wow.
There's nothing wrong with doing my washing on a Saturday night.
Yeah, well, at least you get it done. Yeah.
But that's the thing, talking about forgetfulness, you're awful with turning lights off. You walk into a room, you turn the light on, and you just walk out.
Or maybe that's just you being obsessive with wanting to turn lights off.
Power's expensive.
Yeah.
It's extremely
just
expensive.
A lie. Do we want to get into this?
Well, are we going to start talking about the cost of living, or are we talking about neurodiverse?
Because
I can talk about the cost of living.
Okay. Okay, well, I guess, yes, there's lights and stuff, but what could some of the bigger things be? Oh, forgetting to switch the car off. I've left the car running.
Have you actually done that?
Yeah.
You just walked away and the cars are still running?
Yeah. I
have called you out on that before, haven't I? When you've driven somewhere. I'm like, you haven't even turned the car off yet. Kids are out the car, you're trying to lock it, walking down the street, and it's still motoring away.
Yeah. What else have I done? I don't know, losing things. Remember you bought me those new AirPods?
You start on the AirPod situation.
And then I found them like 6 months later and they were in a folder.
So I bought you this beautiful pair of AirPods when we went on holiday to Brisbane, didn't we? We went up there for a week, and you got a new phone, you got a new Android phone, or you had trouble with your headphones, and I got you this beautiful pair of these earbuds that are just for your phone. Had them for a few days, thought you'd left them up in Brisbane, and you had to sell them for $6. That was really expensive. With the cost of living these days.
I couldn't believe I found them, and they were in the most random spot. So that is definitely something I do the whole time, constantly misplacing things.
Everything is always such a rush with you, isn't it? It's all like going out to take the kids to football or something like that, some sports. I'll get my stuff ready on the morning and have plenty of time. I know where everything is. All the stuff is all over the house in all different places. Rushing around, it's stress. I just can't understand how it's like that when you think that, you just get the stuff ready in the morning.
I can't understand how you just waltz through life with no troubles and no struggles.
I think we're trying to show that this is not waltzing through life and we have struggles and troubles.
It is. And I guess that's that whole time management. It is, it's a really, it doesn't, and that's why I need to be extremely organized, and otherwise it's just going to all completely fall apart. And yeah, you've been great with that, keeping me organized and structured as well as best you can.
Yeah, you do fight against.
Yeah, but it is.
I think you want to be structured and organized and know where things are, and you've got to be here at 4:15 and you've got to leave at 8:05 here, and everyone's got to be dressed and breakfasted and everything. But you do fight against it as well, which I don't understand.
Well, I mean, us ADHDers, we actually do have less dopamine in our brains than the normal person. So I'd probably understand that maybe we are that risk taking, or even just the stress, or it sort of elevates that dopamine. You're constantly looking for something that's going to bring you up in some level. So I mean,
like a hit, or
so dopamine it's that pleasure hormone. So whether it is it's like, yes, I got out the door just in time, or whatever it is, I can't quite understand. So whether that is, I don't know. Like if life just sailed along smoothly, it would just be so boring. Like, where's the fun in?
I think that life doesn't sail along smoothly.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's not easy. It's not smooth just being a neurotypical person.
Yeah.
But throw you in the mix, then
maybe I just bring a little bit of color.
I don't remember what life used to be like. That's the weird thing. Yeah, it does add a bit of color to it.
Well, hence the podcast.
Yeah, I think we covered that, didn't we?
So that would also be a thing, I guess, is being able to start projects. But finishing them is another.
Well, once it loses its shine, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Do you want to go through what your day-to-day is, or what do you want to cover about?
Well, I guess
neurodiverse?
I've never really looked at how I live. How I am is just normal. It's just the way I've lived. It's just my lifestyle. It's actually meeting you and bringing you into it and seeing how you interact and react to the way I am. That I'm like,
that life doesn't need to be this crazy mess that's all over the place and no one knows what's happening, and it's just if you manage to get through it, you've had a good day.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what do you notice? What are standouts for you?
With you? Things can be, I was trying to think.
Interesting?
Now, so, no, I'm not going to, no, I'm trying to think of other words to say, because, episode 1 and 2, there's probably a high count of interestings in there. But when I come home, because you leave after me in the morning, right? I go a little bit earlier than you. And when I come home, I come in and I see all the breakfast stuff there. There's bowls of milk. There's coffee half drunk. There's the butter from lunches. It's just out with a knife in it. That's all just goo now. And, all these sort of things.
The door's not locked.
The door's not locked. Yeah. The dog's in the house trying to get out. And I think, how has this happened? And I come in at 5:00 and put all the breakfast things away. It's like, how does this even...
You know what? My kids are still alive. I have succeeded.
Yeah. So it's good that you celebrate that. So that's an achievement and an accomplishment.
It is. It's a really tough thing. It's hard enough looking after myself, let alone bringing in 2 kids that they have their own unique personalities. and struggles that you don't have to deal with. It's tough. It's really hard. And yes, you can laugh and joke about all the interesting things about being having those sort of unique personality traits. But it is really difficult too. And a lot of, I think, anxiety is a massive one. It's a crippler.
That is massive. Yeah.
It's crippling. And it stops you from doing a lot of things.
So with anxiety, I think I called you out in it last week, you catastrophize, right? So you come up with something is happening or hasn't happened yet, but could happen. And you go to the absolute worst case scenario and possibly beyond that doomsday kind of scenario as to what's going to be happening. And I try and pull you back and say, you know what? No, that's you don't need. I'm sure it's fine. You don't need to worry about it. Nothing's happened. But yeah, you do go to that, and your mind goes so quickly through these scenarios that haven't happened, that won't happen, but could in your mind. And it's very different to see that when, for myself, with my perspective, I can come up with crap, what happens if this happens? But you know what, generally I take it as it comes or see how it goes and not too worried about it. Whereas, you're and it does add a very different perspective to our marriage as well, and our relationship, and that level of understanding each other as to how we both think. And we've been married for 3 years now, that we covered already, but it does make it very, very difficult to try and understand what your thought process is compared to my thought process when we're trying to work through not necessarily an issue, but just something that's happening or what we want to do on the weekend. It could be something that simple, and it can cause frustration between us because you don't understand where I'm coming from, and I just cannot understand what you're thinking about and how your mind works. I just can't get it. So it does cause some frustration in our relationship, doesn't it?
We're probably still also working on being able to communicate a little bit better. In that way, we both can go fairly quiet. Like I shut down, but it's crippling anxiety. It's just I cannot. I just shut down.
You can't function when something's not the way it needs to be.
And I sort of isolate myself and shut down.
Yeah, you do. You shut yourself away, and you can't deal with it until you've dealt with it yourself. Which is frustrating for me and difficult for me as well because, I'm the husband. I want to come in and try and help.
Yeah.
But you want to be, no, I need to just deal with this myself.
Yeah.
In your own world.
Yeah.
And it makes it very difficult to try and navigate a relationship because, when we get that on a Saturday or any time, you shut down. I have to go and do something or go into a different room and close the door and watch some TV or something just to get myself out of the situation because I want to help and I get frustrated that I can't.
While you were speaking, I think, and I can't speak for everyone else, but just my experience and the people around me that my family sort of members as well that are on the spectrum that have some type of neurodiverse personality traits. The big part there is because mostly there is going to always be anxiety, and it is it's a huge thing to deal with because with anxiety you will be pushed into this fight or flight, and it is a physical reaction. So yes, ADHD brain, it's like a gerbil. It's like you've got all these narratives in your mind like going all different directions. It's never quiet.
You got a few gerbils in there.
I can definitely. But then on adding that sort of constant conversations, constant things going on in your head, when you bring in that level of anxiety, it actually it takes over your body. And I can't believe that it's taken me so long. I've had this my whole life and never really been able to verbalize the feelings and really be aware of what it does to my body. But it takes over my whole body. My heart starts full on palpitating, sweaty palms, the shaking, and if you live like that for so long, that is your normal, and it raises where your normal level of sitting in fight or flight. It normalizes sitting in this high state the whole time. So it's really hard to change that state of normal. So you're constantly just living in this heightened space, which is extremely unhealthy. And I'm sure it would be very hard on your body.
Well, you were only talking about it this morning, weren't we? About that, about manifesting in other symptoms in your body, about when you are at that level for continuous periods of time, about how what the reaction is of your body.
Yeah, definitely. And it does. And it's a lot, like you look at it, a lot of it has got to do with genetics and things that you are actually born with. But then you would need to look into sort of the social, what type of person are you? What are your character traits? What are the things that you are able to handle due to your personality? And then you're looking into your environment as well. So I guess as well, a lot of the way you learn to handle things can be a trauma response as well. So it's working out all these different aspects in your personality in a sense, and whether you've learnt to regulate yourself, learnt how to handle your emotions. I mean, I'm still working on that.
Oh, but you do a very good job though, generally.
Yeah.
Thank
you.
That's all right.
I don't think that.
Well, I don't think it half the time, but I was just trying to be nice. But no, you do. You know when you're being that way, and you're in that fight or flight, and you do try and explain it to me, but you explain it in a way that only you can understand it.
Yeah.
That's the trouble.
Yeah.
From being on the outside of it, you explain the way that you're feeling in your head that I can't understand, and then get upset with me because I don't understand because I'm not in your head to get it. So that makes it worse when you try and explain it to me because
we have gone through a few of these. We have actually gone through this before, and I remember I'm like, getting so frustrated with you and going, I'm a teacher. How can you not understand this? It's my job to explain things.
I have to hold my tongue because a lot of the time, you try and explain something to me in the way that you understand it. Something like even physical, like doing this podcast, right? You explain it to me and I'm like, I don't get what you're asking me to do. And then you get frustrated and it's like, oh, I'll just do it. I'm thinking, you're a teacher. You should know that different people learn differently.
Okay, so the way I've just explained that, because obviously we've got viewers that are watching this, and the way I've just explaid sort of my experience.
This is a perfect example,
did you understand that
right?
or not? You have no idea.
This is
Are you serious? So you didn't understand what I just said?
So you go shut down now.
Okay.
I'll go in the other room.
Okay, why don't you rephrase how you understood that for those of you who didn't understand what I just said? What did you get from that?
That you need to try and explain things that's not in your own head.
It's really different. But while I'm explaining that as well, you've just got to remember that I've got like 3 other things going on as well. And I'm trying my utmost to not jump from one story to the other story to another story, because that's actually something that we do. Like I know what I do, or other people with ADHD, is they can't just have a linear story. It's a story that links to this and goes back to that.
A lot of tangents.
Yeah, and it goes on this massive tangent before they even get to what they even meant to say. So I am working on that. And I think being a teacher, I have developed that ability to be able to communicate a little bit better than what I would normally.
Well, yeah. And you've been a teacher for a long time, so something's obviously working.
Yeah, that's right. But not for you.
Not for me, no.
Maybe you're the one that we need to be having maybe we need to look into what's going on with you.
Episode 4. Why doesn't Ed get it?
Come on, everybody. Try and what can we do to help this man? Yeah.
Yes. But I hope that's been a really good insight, right? It's been a good insight for me, even just for you to talk about it, just to help me try and understand you a little bit more. It'd be interesting to see what it happens in the long term, whether it's going to change our relationship or not. But it is good because it's a continuous thing that we're going to have. Whereas we do think about things so differently, we act so differently, we process things so differently, that this will be a long-term term thing for us to try and understand each other a bit more with each and every time. And that's all we can really hope, right?
I think it's a great sort of mix, the two of us together. You bring out a lot of, you give me a lot of things that I really need, that stability and that consistency and the level
All the
head.
boring stuff.
Yeah, it is, but it's everything that I need. And I'd like to think that I give you some wonderful, colourful,
You give me some experiences.
positive
That's for sure.
experiences. Well, every single holiday we've gone on is my impulse.
That I have to pay for.
Yeah, okay. Well, there we go again, the cost of living.
You can see what I'm passionate about in our relationship.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do an episode just on the cost of living.
As long as there's enough money left over for football boots, it's fine.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Yeah. But yeah, so I guess it's an interesting dynamic, and really in the long run you can categorize people and go, oh, well, they sit in whatever sit on whatever spectrum, or they're classed as this type of person. But ultimately I think people are different.
Well, personality comes into it massively, right?
Huge. Yeah, definitely. And everyone is so different and brings qualities and strengths. Yeah, looking at focusing on a disorder is, I mean, that's one way you can look at it. And there are some really tough things to go through, but everyone is struggling in their own right in whatever areas.
Yeah.
So I think we've just got to be kind to each other and really just try and understand the variety of different sort of perspectives and personality traits, and the types of people that are out there, because
everyone's all
that's right.
Is there anything, to wrap it up, is there anything that you can share with anyone that has helped you on your journey, or us on our journey?
I think working as a teacher has been a huge thing. Obviously, I have a background with family, and that is my life. Living in a neurodiverse sort of family, and the unique personalities and perspectives that go with that. But working as a teacher and the background sort of studies and education around different learning styles and meeting amazing students with varied backgrounds and abilities, really it gets you to really understand what that looks like. So yeah, that's really grown. That's sort of gotten me to know myself a lot better and understand what that looks like, anxiety looks like from multiple perspectives, and ADHD and autism, and we've got like dyscalculia and dyslexia. So I mean, there's all these sort of names that you can put on people, but everyone is so different, and there's never going to be just one type of person.
Yeah.
So, but it's a passion of mine. I'm really interested in knowing how someone ticks and how they work, and what makes them happy and what makes them anxious and sad, and how to bring quality in their lives, and how to be able to read that and understand what people are going through.
Excellent. So tune in for episode 4 about the cost of living crisis.
Wonderful. Thanks everybody for watching.
Yeah, we'll see you next time. Like, subscribe.